All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you, and thank you so much for joining us on your Central Valley Live. My name is Gabe Salazar. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Well, whether you're a current homeowner, potential buyer, seller, or investor, today's segment is definitely for you, and you definitely want to listen up. So, since the start of the pandemic, no doubt you probably have wondered, will this cause the housing market to crash? Now, well, real estate agents and brokers hear that specific question several times a day, and rightfully so. So, how lucky we are to have one of the best in the area, local real estate expert Caitlyn Peck, is joining us live to talk about the current state of the housing market in Fresno and everything you need to know on all fronts. Caitlyn, thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. I love doing this and I love real estate and I'm in the housing market every single day. So I can talk about this all day long. So let's do it.
Of course, anytime. So, talking about this very important topic, first, why don't you just introduce yourself first?
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Caitlyn Peck. I've been a realtor here in the Fresno County. I service all of Fresno County for 10 years now. And I have been not to like boast or anything, but a top producer for those 10 years. I am always actively in the market every day, helping buyers and sellers. I work with both buyers and sellers. And I'm ranked number 13 out of all California real estate agents for social media presence. And I just am born and raised in Fresno, California. I'm very pro Fresno. I'm outside of selling real estate. I'm all about promoting Fresno and our local businesses and everything like that. And the neighborhoods and all the new communities and everything like that. So I'm very in tune with what we're going to be talking about.
All right, so just give us an overview of what the local housing market is like. What's the inventory like, and has demand increased or decreased compared to years past?
So the local housing market right now is different and maybe a little difficult, I would say, for some people, although it's a winning market for both buyers and sellers. It is more of a strategy game than it has ever been. And so I'll get into that with you. It's a seller's market right now. Sellers are just blown away with, I'll tell you a story about some of my last listings that will blow you away about the terms that sellers are getting. But buyers are still winning in today's market because interest rates, which for anyone that doesn't understand how interest rates impact you, interest rates really impact when you buy a home. You can buy more home for less. Your monthly mortgage payment will be less. And we have been under 3% with mortgage interest rates for about 6 or 7 months now, which is historically low and unheard of. Normally a lot of people are used to 7%, 8% interest rates. My parents even remember 18% interest rates. We're creeping back up a little bit. We're at 3% right now on a 30-year fix, but that is still phenomenal. I mean, it's like borrowing free money almost, so it's the time to buy. And so we have so many pre-approved buyers right now, and we do not have enough listings for sale or new construction at all to meet the demand. And so there's a supply and demand big problem right now. And so buyers are really excited, but
Right.
there's always multiple offer situations. There's different strategies than we've ever been using in the last couple of years to win homes, and they really need to be educated on what they're getting into. But it is the best financial decision they can make to buy now because interest rates are just going to keep going up.
Yeah. What's the current mortgage rate in Fresno?
So like I was saying, we had been up until I believe last week at under 3%,
Okay.
which I don't know what you know about interest rates, but under 3% is
Right.
literally insane to be like people are either refinancing,
Yeah.
getting pre-approved, and that's why we have so many pre-approved buyers. Anyone that was able to lock in then is amazing. We just shot up a little bit to and every day the mortgage market changes a little bit, but we're hovering around 3% for the average 30-year interest rate right now, which is still incredible. Something historically low as well. It's not in the twos, which were just highway robbery almost. And so, but 3% interest rates, and so they went up a little bit, and we're projecting them to still go up a little bit more this year as the economy improves and all of that. But like I said, people are used to 6%,
Right.
7% interest rates. And so that's still incredible. It's not going to hurt you very much. And it's the time to buy if you can. It's just the problem for buyers right now in this market is everyone's capitalizing on the
Right.
low interest rates. And then we don't have nearly enough homes for sale.
Yeah, and because that demand is so high, this means more competition, right? So what are some of the strategies that buyers are utilizing to secure the home that they really want?
Insane. It's and I don't want to scare buyers away. I don't want to discourage anybody because you work with a professional like me, a realtor like me, that we know how to guide you through the process and all this, but you're going to have to do things that last year I wasn't, even just last year, I've never had to write any of this into contracts, what I'm about to tell you. But we would see multiple offers last year, but it was mainly just be regarding price, if they were going to try to outbid someone. Now, my last listing that I had got 40 offers on it. And 40 offers, Gabe, is a lot of offers.
Yeah.
Multiple offers is usually in a good market, 3 to 4 or something like that. So we're
40
getting
offers within what was the time frame there?
40 offers in 2 to 3 days.
Oh, wow.
2 to 3 days. So we got like 40 offers, and they were pulling out everyone's removing almost all contingencies in their contract. So definitely appraisal contingency is being removed a lot, which means that if the home doesn't appraise because you're having to offer more than list price to even be considered one of the offers that may get accepted, right? A lot of people are removing their appraisal contingency and saying that if the home doesn't appraise for what we go into contract for, buyer will be the one to come to the table with the cash to make up for the difference, because in past markets, if an appraisal came in low and there was the appraisal contingency, because an appraisal, a lender won't loan to you unless the home appraises or someone comes up with the difference, anymore. In past markets, buyers and sellers may renegotiate on that. Sellers are getting the best terms ever right now. They're getting over list price, multiple offers with their dream terms, and not having to meet halfway usually if an appraisal comes in low. We're seeing people write so much higher just to win the house because there's nothing else like it on the market. And I want to caution people that you're not overpaying for these homes. Fresno in general is going up in value, and you will get back what you pay above list price. But people are writing 20,000 over, 30,000 over, 40,000 over sometimes, mainly around 10 to 20,000 over, and saying that if it doesn't appraise, they will be the ones to come in with that extra 10,000 to 20,000 to make up the difference to close the escrow. And they'll say that they won't request repairs sometimes. They'll say that if seller needs to, a lot of the time, so sellers are worried, okay, yeah, it's the best time to sell ever. I'll get the highest amount for my home and every term I want, but what if I can't find a home because of this? Well, it's very easy for us to negotiate a seller rent back or a seller in possession after close of escrow as one of the terms of us accepting your contract is then seller needs a little bit of time to get out of the house and find where they're going to relocate to,
Right,
so sellers are getting when they price it right, which most of them are very happy when I give them a market value analysis, and they are surprised already of what their home can sell for. So they usually price right, and we get those 10 to 20 offers, and they get to, maybe stay in the house after close of escrow and find it, and just on their terms. And buyers are still getting a great house with a low interest rate, and all of that. So, I mean, everyone's winning, but we do call it a seller's market.
Okay. And homeowners are also finding that their home equity is up too, right? And is this a result of the home's value just organically increasing because of where the housing market is going? So what factors are involved in this?
So, National, one of the most highly prestigious economic for real estate national organizations, said that this last year was the biggest increase across the board in home values at 10% we've seen, and quarterly. And so everyone's home value increased 10% in this last year, right? And so they have a lot more equity than they think they have. Average is kind of around 6 or 7, or something like that. We've been having good appreciation for a while, but 10% is really great. In Fresno, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we increased probably 11 to 11.5% because Fresno is so hot right now. We're a very popular market. And with that, every time I tell someone the value of their home, or when people are looking at the prices of homes, they're like, everything's overpriced right now. But it's not. The reason is the low interest rates have so many buyers pre-approved. There's not enough homes for sale. So supply and demand are off. And then also new construction hasn't been building enough. They're starting to build more, and we're starting to see more listings hit the market, but there is just not enough homes for sale, and it increased the value, and so many people wanted the low interest rates. And then on a tangent note of just locally focusing on Fresno and our home values, and I especially know because I have a YouTube channel that I specialize in trying to talk to the people that relocate here about Fresno. So many people from LA and San Francisco and San Jose, a lot of people from San Jose, they can't afford to retire in those cities, and they can't afford to own a home and raise their family. And they're starting to realize how great of a place Fresno is to live. And I'm not kidding. We are getting swamped with buyers from those areas up north and down south that help our home values as well. So our home values are going to continue to go up, and but the good thing for buyers is we're starting to see more listings hit the market as sellers realize that they're able to cash out so much on the sale of their home.
And we're going to talk about the migration of people moving from places like San Francisco and LA, those large metropolitan areas, to Fresno in just a moment. But just transitioning to how the coronavirus pandemic has impacted the economy, I mean, we can really look at it as it was an external event that caused a lot of fear, none of which was ever driven by the housing market directly, right? So have you seen this affect the housing market locally, and do you think that the financial markets and federal governments learned their lesson now to get out of this hurdle?
So the last part of your question was, I'm going to start with the first part of your question about how the pandemic affected real estate market in my and most of my peers' opinion. We were considered essential workers during the entire time, and my business did not slow down at all during the pandemic. There were a few unfortunate times where I got a call from someone that was pre-approved that was just uneasy about the status of their job, and so they put it on hold maybe, but buyers took the time still, to capitalize on the interest rates. We had to kind of do things differently. There were no open houses, and there were no open houses. We had to be much more careful when showing houses, and a lot more disclosures about the pandemic and stuff. But because this is such a good financial move to buy and sell in today's market in Fresno County, people didn't slow down if they had the means to move forward with their buying and selling hopes. And since they were at home, a lot of people realized, oh, I don't have it. They either like their current home or they don't like their current home. They spent so much time there. And so they decided to start looking at real estate more. And it's been as good of a year as ever for me and most of my real estate peers.
Right. And also, whether you're a homeowner or a landlord, there was also a great opportunity recently with the recent stimulus package, right? Does this only benefit tenants or homeowners or landlords as well?
Okay, so with the stimulus package, we're going to wait and see kind of how that affects everything, even with interest rates and all of that. I know that a lot of forbearances that people took out for their mortgage rates or for their mortgage payment are starting to become due. And there's a myth out there that that's going to lead to a huge foreclosure crisis in the market. This is a huge thing I hear all the time. People think that a wave of foreclosures are going to come because when I think next month or in 2 months, the government's going to start saying that your forbearance forgiveness is due, for they were able to skip out on their mortgage payments for a little bit, negotiated it with their banks. But if the people that still don't have the money to start paying again their mortgage payment, because of how good our real estate market has been for so many years now, and especially this last year's huge increase in homeowner equity, most of them, we're all projecting that the majority of them are going to do a traditional sale, because why would you not, because they don't have enough equity in their home to sell and not have to take a foreclosure on their record, and they'll sell and maybe net a little cash and then figure out what they're going from there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the myth that when the forbearances become due, that it's going to be a huge foreclosure wave. I hear this every day. Is not true, because the amount of equity homeowners have, it would make no sense unless there's something else behind their financial situation for them to foreclose, rather than move forward with a traditional sale that won't hurt their credit, won't hurt them financially, won't hurt everything, and they'll be able to walk away with something. So we're not going to see a big wave of foreclosures.
Yeah, so really now would be a great time for both buyers and sellers to make a move, right? Because home equity is up and those interest rates are low. So what can we expect this spring? Can buyers still expect to capture those low interest rates then?
Sure. Like I said, just last week we went up to the 3s, and we've been up to the 2s, spoiled in the 2s for so long, or for 6 months, but that was an unheard of thing for anyone, like, our parents. They've never even heard of interest rates being in the 2s. And even to be in the 3s at 3%, in the low 3s, is just an incredible interest rate. So that's not going to scare buyers away. Buyers that are moving right now, we've got the millennials, who are our biggest demographic, jumping into the real estate market big time. And then we've got people that realize they're going to be working from home. They need an office space. They need their home. They spent so much time in their home that it's not working for them anymore. It's a slight increase in interest rates isn't going to prevent them from moving, and it hasn't at all, because the low 3s are still good. We do project interest rates to keep climbing a little bit, but we have to understand where we're still historically low, and we're used to 6% interest rates. So even if they climb to mid 3s or high 3s by the end of the year, you're still going to be getting a great interest rate. So buyers aren't going to be deterred by that. They're going to be excited to know that more listings are starting to hit the market. And, I've taken a lot more listings in the last couple of weeks. I think during when the second wave of the pandemic came back a little bit and everything closed down a little bit, people got a little where they were just uneasy, and people are a lot more confident now, and people are realizing that they can sell for more money and better terms than they ever possibly could. And a lot of people are moving out of California right now, and so like a lot of people are moving out of California right now, and so those people are definitely selling. So a lot more will be
I'm glad you mentioned millennials, because they might be a little bit hesitant to purchase, whether it's their first home. So what's your advice to them if they are a little bit hesitant about that?
So I would be too. I mean, when you're just starting the home buying process and you're not a realtor like me, it's so confusing. There's too much information out there online. My advice to them is to get in contact with a realtor. If you're buying, it's free to work with a real estate agent. Well, just let the expert guide you, hold your hand, and make the process easier for you. There's so many myths that deter people from buying, and millennials, they need to be buying, because the thing is, like, say you would have bought last year a $300,000 home, but you put it on hold instead because you were, just couldn't figure out the process or anything like that. Well, you lost out on 30 to 40% equity because of how much our home prices went up, and the more you wait to buy, if you, have the down payment, which can be as low as 3%, to, you don't have to put 20% down. If you can buy, just talk to a professional, let them help you, let them talk you through that you don't need the myth of the 20% down, and help. What we do is we help you structure your finances. If your credit score is not perfect yet, you don't need an 800 credit score. You only need the low 600, most of the time, and you only need about 3% down. And many people are just too scared to make that initial reach out to an expert, and so they put off buying. And right now, then they're paying rent, and when you buy a house, it's like putting money in the bank every month when you pay your mortgage instead of someone else's mortgage. So
it really is just a timing game, right?
I'm a millennial myself, and I'm just like encouraging them so much to just jump in. Don't be scared. Contact them. It's a little tough right now with the multiple offers that you're going to have to compete against and all of that, but that's why I say your number one thing is pick the professional that you're going to work with, and they'll guide you through that, and make it easier for you. A lot of people are going with new construction this year. I've sold more new construction houses than I have in a lot of other years, because it is just sometimes easier at this point. So millennials definitely just need to reach out to professionals. We're not very good about that because we're going to self-educate ourselves on everything, but it's much better and saves them so much time.
What's the median price range of homes now compared to the last couple of years?
So like I said, home prices appreciated about 10% last year, and we're looking at the median price range of about $325 right now.
Okay.
$325, and we're looking at. I ran this morning, but this isn't true. I mean, this was for all of Fresno County, and so it says an average days on market. Okay. So that's if you're selling your house, how long you can expect for it to sell. And it said 18 days on market, but every listing I launch is getting just an incredible amount of showings right now because we're so low on inventory the first couple of days, and we're usually in contract within 3 to 4 days. Okay. But work with the right professional.
Right. And then you were recently recognized as the #1 realtor in Fresno on social media, right? So what a perfect time to have that sort of recognition, since a lot of realtors these days had to turn to these virtual platforms on social media to do their job. Now, I know you have a YouTube channel. and you do have a pretty big following on Instagram. Have you found a lot of your clients this way? How is prospecting working for you now?
So I'm just different than the average realtor on how I prospect. Like I really enjoy. I was stoked to do this. I love doing video. I love doing all of this kind of stuff. I'm a marketing girl first, and then I love real estate as well, and Fresno as well. So I, from the day one that I started 10 years ago, launched that buying and selling Fresno Instagram account and platform, and just started putting that out there. And the whole purpose of it is to just be a resource for buyers and sellers, but also to really change the reputation that Fresno has had for a really long time. You know, sometimes I talk to these people that call me from my YouTube channel from LA and San Francisco and San Jose that want to move here because they want to finally have a chance at owning a home, you know, and they're just so uneasy about Fresno because we used to have kind of a bad rep, and it's better, and it's getting better and better, and they're just not sure about it. And so I'm really trying to on there highlight Fresno, and I'll highlight our communities. And I mean, you live here, I live here. Fresno's an awesome place to live, and everyone that ends up moving here, they say, I love living here, and they wouldn't have been moving from Burbank or San Jose. Like I said, they love their lifestyle, they love everything about it. So yeah, the out-of-towners that are relocating here through that. I meet a lot of my millennial clients through social media, and then it's mainly those demographics that I meet through social media. A lot of the millennials, you know, they're on Instagram. My Instagram's really popular, and the rest is just, you know, repeat business. I'm a born and raised Fresno girl, and there's people that know me, that I'm in the industry and stuff like that. I don't really do other prospecting, but social media is where it's at because the whole purpose is to educate you on what's going on with the market and to help you and encourage you to take advantage of today's market, you know, especially, you know, my fellow millennials. And then there's the baby boomers are all downsizing right now, you know. So there's two huge demographics that are making moves. And when the pandemic first started, they kind of put it on hold, but then they were living in homes that didn't work for them anymore. So now we're starting to really
Yeah, and just talking about that growth, it used to be the case where about a decade ago, some of these subdivisions became a symbol of the financial crisis, right? Neighborhoods filled with foreclosed homes and half-built neighborhoods. But now the problem has transformed into increasing that inventory to just meet the demands of families who are trying to relocate from those larger metropolitan areas like San Francisco, the Bay Area, and Los Angeles, right?
And our local buyers too. Yeah. And our local home builders are doing a good job. There's, you know, we have our master plan communities that are awesome, even those ones right off in Madera, so in the Madera Ranchos area, you know, Riverstone, Socorro Viejo, they're still building out there. There's a new one on Copper and Grove, that's Heritage Grove, that Lennar is starting to build at and selling a lot of homes, but we don't have enough new construction. So even new construction, there's a long waiting list there. But homeowners that were hesitating to sell because of how inconvenient life was during the pandemic with their kids home or their whatever, they'll start to list and realize, oh my gosh, I can make so much money on my home, and I gotta do this. Or also, like I said, those people that are moving out of California because they're tired of our tax rates and whatever doesn't work for them in California. And then the last thing that we're projecting is what's called shadow inventory to hit the market soon. So you're actually, if you're a homeowner and maybe going to sell in 2021, we're going to want to sell sooner than later to beat out the waves of competition that are going to start coming. And what shadow inventory is like maybe in 2005, 2008, you know, during that last crisis, and that all those foreclosures, if banks held on to those and didn't sell because they couldn't sell them for an amount they wanted to, now banks are realizing that all these homes they've been holding on to and not selling, that they can sell for top dollar. And so a lot of banks that have been holding on to vacant homes are going to start listing those here soon. So that's going to increase inventory. Homeowners are less scared about the pandemic and people being in their houses and, schooling their kids and having showings going on. And and new construction is building a little bit more. New construction has been down the amount we've been building for a while. So all of that should contribute to, I'm already seeing more listings at the market, but definitely, we're in March right now. April, May, and June are our heaviest listing months traditionally anyways. And so we are going to see a wave of new listings, maybe not as much as usual, but something for buyers to be excited about, because buyers get a little discouraged right now because there's just so little inventory, and then when they do find a house they love, there might be 20 to 30 offers. So the more inventory that we're seeing hit, the better for buyers. And it's great because it's too bad when they get discouraged and decide to put it on hold, and then they don't capitalize those interest rates that are gonna in the end be a very financial.
Yeah, that's definitely some good news. So what are some of the hot neighborhoods now, and what are some of the ones that are growing?
Okay, so hot neighborhoods now, anything Clovis Unified is always hot, right?
Yeah.
People, for families, people always love Clovis Unified. So there's Loma Vista out there by Clovis East. That is a newer master plan community that's still building, that's very affordable, and families are able to get into Clovis Unified School District, into a nice home, and so a lot of people will move there. Copper River is, and everything that feeds into the Clovis North High School and is always very popular. Clovis North is ranked, I think, our #1 school here locally, and so people really love the Copper River and Champlain and Perrin area. The Keene area is very popular, I noticed. And then I would say that new housing, like I said, new construction has been more popular for me this year than any year. So there's the communities right off of, 10 minutes away from River Park, off of 41, Riverstone, and then Tesoro Viejo. And then also Heritage Grove is coming up soon. That's going to be a master plan community that should feed into Clovis North. And then we've always got our Tower District, which is a one-of-a-kind neighborhood that is amazing and a total community vibe that you can't get anywhere else. Old Fig's popular, Big Garden, and the Fresno High area. Those are the popular areas that I felt I would say. Oh, and by San Joaquin Golf Course is super popular.
Okay. Yeah, so lots of choices there for potential buyers, right? And just taking a look at the big picture once again, the obvious reason for people migrating from places like SF and LA is because of the cost of living. It's always increasing, it's not going cheaper. So for those potential buyers, what's your pitch to them to live in Fresno?
So I know I have to do it a lot. When they call me and they're really hesitant, most of them haven't even been here, but it's just like, they're considering here or Bakersfield a lot of the time. They're just so tired of, first of all, their commute, and they would never be able to afford a home, ever, no matter, even if they're making really good money, a lot of them. And if they have families or if they're retiring, they can't afford to retire there. So I don't have to fight those facts. They worry a little bit about our air quality here. Now, I did a lot of research on that, and we do have a reputation for bad air quality, but I filmed a YouTube video recently about that, and it turns out that LA's air quality is maybe nobody sue me on this or anything, because this could have changed, but 1 to 3% better than ours at any time. It's just fighting the old stigmas of Fresno, and letting them know that we're the 5th largest city in California. There's so much to do here. There's a different communities for everyone. As I mentioned, like we have Tower District, we have Fresno High, we have Fig Garden area, we have the Copper River area, then we have, just all sorts of Sunnyside, so many different communities. We have country properties in Clovis and Fresno. There's a different type of home and home for everyone, whatever they're looking for. And they don't realize that. They think that we just have like maybe track homes and we're not that big of a city. They don't realize that we have a great, restaurant scene and that we have lots of things to do and that it's really fun to live here. And but they'll come visit and I'll take them around town and then they will move here because they'll get a great job because we have great jobs here too. We have some of the best hospitals here. We have some of the best schools. We have a lot of great industries moving here as well. So they end up moving here and they're way happier than they ever were because they could have never, for like families, they could have never raised their kids in a house with in a cul-de-sac with a bunch of other kids, that attend the school with a community park in the middle and all these great master plan communities. A lot of them by new construction, but basically so that they can afford to live, and then they realize that Fresno is an easier, more comfortable lifestyle. And if they need to get back to LA or San Francisco, it'll take them 2.5 hours, know? And people can work remote now.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely attest to that because I'm also relatively new to the area. I grew up in Hawaii, moved to San Diego, and made the transition to here. So it's definitely a change in scenery, but I love living here since I moved. The cost of living and the quality of living is really unmatched. And there's a lot of things to do here, which a lot of people don't know about, right?
What stigmas did you hear? Because we have reputations like the gang violence and stuff, the fight against that. I hear that people worry about that. And so you live in LA? And I'm like,
I know, right? Yeah.
Anything that you're dealing with,
was mainly it, is just the crime
anything
rate.
That you're dealing with in LA is maybe the same or less than we have. And our crime under Jerry Dyer was gang violence and everything was reduced significantly. We have done a great job with that. And those stats aren't out. People are still a little scared about how safe is Fresno. And I say I've lived here my entire life and, I've maybe been privileged to not encounter anything horrible, but nothing that you wouldn't encounter in any city, even Carmel. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you fight against that for 1 second and then you just say, there's definitely a neighborhood for everybody, and if safety is your number one concern, we've got great gated communities, we've got great communities that rate way lower for crime rate and all of that kind of stuff. But we're just like any other big city, we're going to have crime,
And I just want to get your opinion on commercial real estate because just going in downtown, are they facing the same problem there? Because just passing through, say, Fulton Street, it seems that the inventory is there, but just there's not a lot of investors or buyers.
Okay, so commercial real estate is such a big topic. Commercial real estate is great in Fresno for I talked about those new communities that are being built on this around there, right? Now, the only reason some commercial real estate is taking hits is because people's lifestyles have changed in general, that they don't really, they Amazon Prime everything, and so you're seeing some grocery stores go out of business or some big box stores go out of business. And so it'll be interesting I know I'm talking to a few commercial clients right now that are have ideas for reinventing some of those spaces. Our strip malls are going to possibly suffer here as people shop more online and so businesses go out of business, or office space might get it. I assume many office spaces are going to take hits because they realize their employees can work from home just as efficiently, and they don't want to pay them rent. But there's going to be solutions. We'll figure things out on that. to be determined what angle a lot of people are going to go on that, but you will notice more and more vacancies in some commercial areas.
Right.
Definitely, the biggest one I would say is like office buildings. I would,
Okay.
yeah, but like the big box stores and the strip malls too as well. We're just going to have to wait and
Yeah.
see there what kind of businesses are able to come back and maintain that people aren't just able to Amazon Prime instead. You know,
Right.
we become free.
Yeah, and we can only hope once we
Yeah,
do move into the red tier that more businesses start opening up, right? And it's basically just a result of a pandemic driven desire for more living space. I mean, coupled with freedoms afforded by the corporate working from home rules, right? So everyone wants to expand this space with the amount of space that they live in, right? So the inventory is there for potential buyers and also for sellers to sell their homes, right?
right. So buyers should be encouraged and should not drop out if they've been, people that I've been working with for a few months now, they're definitely discouraged because it's been difficult. You know, I'm a seasoned agent. I know how to write an offer that'll get accepted, but if someone's coming in 30,000 of that with cash and I'm not a cash offer, there's nothing we can do, right? But we have very little to choose from. As I explained earlier, I we have 3 different reasons that we expect inventory to start increasing here, which will give buyers more options, which will mean less offers on listings. So buyers should be encouraged by that they won't have to compete against insane terms on contracts as much anymore. I'm already seeing more listings hit the market. I know personally I have five new listings coming up in the next couple of weeks that'll be hitting, as opposed to like last month it was a little less than that, and so and just more to come. And so I know my fellow realtors will all be having that too. And like I said, the banks, with any foreclosures they held on to, are going to start selling those. And any homeowners listening to this
No.
that are wanting to move out of state anyways, as a lot of people do want to get out of California, are going to want to sell now, and that'll be more inventory too. So
Yeah.
once inventory increases, buyers will have a lot less trouble, and we'll see that. And we're seeing it now, but the next 3 months will be a lot better for buyers.
All right, sounds good. So just talking about the key takeaways from this. So make the move whether you're a buyer or seller. I mean, even though inventory is low, there are still options available, whether it be a new construction. And just don't worry about the pandemic effects, right? Because home equity is increasing, and right now would be the time for both buyers and sellers to make a move, right?
Yeah, definitely. Sellers, if you're planning on making a move anytime soon, sellers, I would do it now.
Okay.
Definitely. Buyers, I would definitely encourage you. Low interest rates mean a lot in the purchase of your home. I didn't get too much in depth with that, but you can hit me up or hit your realtor up to explain that. But you're doing yourself a favor to buy now, and more inventory is going to be hitting and is hitting right now. So there's a lot of good for Fresno's real estate market, and for the foreseeable future, as I said, with it becoming one of the most popular places to live in California and stealing a lot of LA and up north people, our home values will continue to increase. So anything you buy right now that you're like, oh, I'm overpaying for, you're not overpaying for. You're not, because our home values are still going to continue to increase because we have people moving here. Whose home values are going to go down in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, who overbuilt and who were insanely priced and all of that. So that's where people get wrong perspectives on the housing market, is because you can't generalize even all of California. Fresno's so different, and since our reputation has gotten better and we don't have the stigma of being like a gangland, or just farming land, gangland, and people are recognizing how great it is to live here. We're we're hot and we're going to be hot for a long, long time. So it's the best thing you can do for yourself if you have the means to buy or sell. And many, many people do have the means to buy and sell, and they just don't realize it because it's scary to make that initial move to reach out to someone to ask about how to get the process started. So, but they shouldn't be scared, and I encourage them to do it soon.
All right, sounds good. So Fresno is a hot market, and if they want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
So for me, like I said, I'm Caitlyn Peck. I'm with HC Realty, owner of Buying and Selling Fresno and Peck Real Estate Group. You can reach me at 559-355-8669 or on Instagram at Buying and Selling Fresno. And then my website's buyingandsellingfresno.com with all my contact information, and so is my YouTube. And I would love to help you guys. And just, I like to answer questions anyways. No big deal to ever just ask a question or get a free market value or tip of how to get started buying.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. A lot of great information was discussed today, and we'll have this video posted on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Caitlyn, thank you so much for your time today and just explaining the current state of the housing market right now and what to do if you are a potential buyer or seller. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.